Yes. Welcome to Voicing the Kingdom podcast. As you guys know, every single Saturday we bring to you this wonderful podcast. It's a Christian podcast and it talks about lots and lots of things concerning Christians. As you guys know, it's a Christian podcast. So I want you to be hooked up there. Thank you for joining right about now. And today we are going to talk about relationship, basically engagement. So just stay there and be with us. I have my guest here today. I have a very new guest. He hasn't been on the platform yet, but today is his first time, and we are going to start with him and ask the other guys will come and join us on. But thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for joining. I've seen people already here with me. Thank you for joining so much. Wherever you're watching from, this is Tommy Bear TV, but the Voicing the Kingdom is the podcast that we bring to you every single Saturday. So thank you so much for being with us. Let's go on and continue and start the program right away. I am Mr. Laughter, your host, and today is a very interesting topic. I love marriage, and it's a very, very good thing. We have been talking about dating all over, and today is the last stage of dating that leads us to marriage itself. So let's just take a good, warm welcome. Our brother, he's going to introduce himself. I don't want to spoil it for you guys. You're already seeing him, so get ready. And yeah, my brother, how are you?
I'm good, my brother.
Thank you so much for coming to the platform.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So, may you please introduce yourself to our viewers and our listeners wherever they are, so they get to know you.
My name is Godfrey Jokla Polo. I've been married this year will be 7 years. Let me count. I'm still counting. I have 5 kids.
5 kids. That's good.
Yes, and so it's a busy house.
A big house,
Yeah,
I guess. That's good. That's good. I guess it's a lot of chaos. I have only two right now, but there is so much chaos every single day, and you sometimes you feel like, oh, why? What are these kids doing? What are these kids? How do you feel about having 5 kids? How do you manage that?
it's crazy. Your eyes have to be in all corners of the house because you don't know what the other one is doing where, and so
Yeah.
yeah, it's
I guess
chaotic.
so. So, yeah, happy to join this podcast. I'm so happy to see you again. And yeah, as I said, today we're going to talk about yes, I do, or you can say no. This is a very, very intimidating process when it gets to dating itself, because this is the moment that you will find out exactly if this girl is really for you. Oh, she is for somebody else. You get that? So it's
Yeah.
very, 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 very interesting, and I want you guys to be there with us and be part of this show so that you can get to understand every single thing that we shall be discussing here. Now, Godfrey, should I call you Pastor, brother? How? What name do you prefer?
Just call me Godfrey. Just call me
Okay,
Godfrey.
no, bro, not even Minister Godfrey.
No, just Godfrey.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, Godfrey, you're welcome to the show. And yeah, it's been a while. Last weekend, I want to apologize to all my followers that last week we didn't really have the show for some few setback here. And yeah, I had a flat tire. I couldn't make it up here to do the show quickly. And yeah, so. But I'm lucky and happy that today we are back here for the show, and it's very, very interesting. Now let's get started as we wait for the other two guests coming in. So let's see how well we can move on. I already have someone here on the chat saying welcome. Thank you. Give me your comment as you know, give us your experience as well, and we shall discuss it purely here with you all. Pastor Godfrey, Godfrey, I want us really to get into your story in a simple way. Let's get started with your story about your relationship, because no one has ever heard about your relationship. So how did you um, go about with your relationship leading to engagement? Let's start where you met. Something like just a little backstory about your marriage life before. I mean, your journey to dating and then later on to marriage. Let's people understand that a little bit, and then I will ask you questions about the moment you got engaged. So let's start with that. Can you pick me? Godfrey? Can you hear me?
My story is very interesting. And so love.
Yeah, looks like Godfrey is his network is disturbing him a little bit, but he will be back soon. So, as we understand, this show is always a show that will give you detail and facts about relationship. And today we have guests that are coming on, and this is my guest, but I think his network is a little poor for now. But let's move on and see exactly what we really want to see from this wonderful life. That when you are engaged, what are the things that you're supposed to do as a person who is engaged. Now, engagement is something that takes courage, and for you to really do it, it will take that momentum and take that energy for you to do it. Now, as I get to the main issue that we have here to discuss, I want you really, really to be with me and bear with me and be part of this show to get us to the top of the lesson and the topic that we want to have today. Now, engagement is a very, very important thing as far as you want to get into marriage, because sometimes things happen in life and you feel like, yeah, it's difficult to do it. But take that courage, I would say. We are going to talk about this deeply. And you're welcome, Pastor. Welcome, Godfrey. I don't know why I'm so used to pastors because I've been hosting pastors. So forgive me if I call you Pastor Godfrey. Um, so yeah, sorry, your network flicked a little bit, but you're welcome back. So
No
I was
problem.
asking you about the story. How did you get your wife? Let's start from there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I said I love street kids, and I when I was single, I used to host street kids in my home a lot,
Hmm.
and so I had hosted a street kid, which of course Francis was among the people who brought that street kid to me. And
Yeah.
now this street kid stayed with me for a month, and then he brought another street kid into my home without my permission.
Yeah.
I was like, how do you bring a guest inside somebody's home? And this guest had not come to visit, he had
Uh
come
huh.
to stay. So he stayed for
Yeah.
2 weeks. And then on
Hmm.
that day, there was a weekend, I was free from work. My day off, I decided to look for their parents. And
Yeah.
so when we took the other second street kid back home, one of the visitors who came as
Mm.
witnesses to see that this child is back home was the neighbor, and this neighbor was my wife,
Yeah.
my current wife. And so she
Hmm.
came in as a neighbor, and we from there I got her number and the number of the sister of this guy. And
Mm.
then I started, because I wanted to keep following up on this street kid, just making sure that he's doing okay.
Yeah.
And so I started chatting with my current wife, and back then we were just chatting and checking on these street kids, and then later on we started sharing our
Mm.
stories, and she shared with me her stories, and that was back in 2014.
Yeah.
But then we later on became very good friends,
Mm.
and we didn't even know we were going to get married. In fact, some people
Mm.
we were just like brothers and sisters. And I mean, there are so many days that people would come, boys would come to me and be like, "I want to date your sister." I'm like, "Yeah, that is okay. You can date her."
Yeah.
But anyway, for us, we didn't know. The most
Yeah.
funny thing though is one time in 2015, the grandmother came to see me,
Yeah.
and she's like, "I want to go and see this brother that I have never met."
Mm.
And so the grandmother said, and we were introducing ourselves like grandmother. She was like,
Hmm.
"Grandmother, this is my brother," and I'm like, "Grandmother, this is my sister." And the grandmother was like, "Yeah, yeah, I know this looks like a brother and sister, but one
Yeah.
day if your eyes open, you can
Mm.
come back and tell me, because I see something different other than brothers and sisters."
Yeah.
But to cut the long story short,
Mm.
in 2017, a
Yeah.
very good friend of mine was
Mm.
praying about me getting engaged. And so she
Yeah.
bought the engagement ring.
Mm-hmm.
And when she bought the engagement ring, back then, at that time, I was dating another girl. And
Yeah.
so she bought this engagement ring in early 2017. And I got this
Yeah.
engagement ring, and she was like, I've been praying for you, and God said I should buy you an engagement ring.
Mm-hmm.
So I would walk with this engagement ring in my pocket almost every day. Now I
Everyone. Almost every
every
day.
day, every day
Okay.
this ring is in my pocket.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
was
So
going through your mind and in your heart?
this thing
What
was
was
in
the
my
intention
pocket,
of
and
working with it?
because I wanted to propose, I wanted to propose to the other girlfriend of mine.
Okay.
And every time I felt like it's time to propose, something would stop me from proposing.
Yeah.
But then in 2000, in April,
Yeah.
because she was also in another relationship,
Mm.
so I ended the relationship. She also our relationship ended,
Yeah.
and then in 2000, I mean in April, I felt like we should get married, me and her, and I remember that
Yeah.
there was a day she was sick and she was home, and
Mm.
I walked. I went and bought a necklace, and
Mm.
inside that necklace I put the engagement ring. And so when I put the engagement ring, I went to her place, and
Mm.
I found her. And so I told her that there was another person also in the house. So I asked her to close her eyes. She closed her eyes,
Yeah.
and then I put the ring on her neck. Of
Mm.
course, there was already so many other conversations that were leading towards marriage, and so, and
Yeah.
the topic of engagement here is a very different thing. I mean, in the Western country, it's okay to
Uh-huh.
engage, but here
Yeah.
you don't just engage anyhow
Yeah.
before making sure that the parents are happy. That
Mm-hmm.
means you would have first paid all the dowry,
Mm.
and that is on the day you clear the dowry. That is the
Yeah.
day you put the engagement ring. And so, putting the engagement ring before even paying 1 shilling, it's a
Mm.
very big blunder. It's a very big slap to your father and your mother-in-law. And so
Yeah.
they would never like that, and that was not a good thing. And so I decided to put
Mm.
the engagement ring on her neck with the necklace, and I asked her to
Mm-hmm.
open it. So she opened it, and I
Mm-hmm.
asked her to check how does the necklace look, and then she found the engagement ring.
Yeah.
Now things were not good for me, because after that the grandmother's like, this is a sure sign that this guy is ready to marry you, but
Yeah.
it looks like your dad will not be very happy. And so the things
Mm.
that after that, so many things happen up to marriage.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's also another story for another day. But that's how I got engaged to my wife, and
Mm.
then later on that same year, 2017, in July, we got married. But from April to July, we had a very big fight, especially with my
Mm.
father-in-law, and the other entire brothers and his elders from his village. They were not
Mm.
happy with me.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I have some few questions that you can go ahead and answer. I want you to give me your experience as concerning the engagement. I know you've already told us the story, but I want us to really get to help somebody who is hiring somebody, maybe a friend, and they look like they're heading towards the marriage process, but they feel they don't really know at what point they should go ahead. You told me you were walking around with the rings everywhere around and you didn't know exactly where and when and how to give the engagement ring to your current wife. So how did you really know? How did you come to realize that this is the point and this is the moment that I should do it? Just to help someone who is also intending to do it.
Yeah, I think we had already talked about, we were in our conversations, we were already geared, it was already gearing towards marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we were so into it because we were already talking about marriage, we were already planned, we already So we are those questions. Personally, when I decided that I would marry this girl, I had to
Yeah.
talk to God and I had to ask him so many questions because,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember those questions. I had
Yeah.
about five questions in my, I think I had about four questions.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't come from a very loaded family. I
Yeah.
come from a very poor family. And by
Yeah.
the time I decided to marry my wife, I had
Mm-hmm.
nothing in my savings because all
Mm-hmm.
the money I would make, I would just give away to street kids, buy
Yeah.
for them clothes, buy for them food. So by the time I decided to get married, I had nothing. So I had to make the engagement really very, very, very we- cheap and things like that. But by that time, I had about four questions. My wife, first of all, she had a
Mm-hmm.
very difficult past, and
Yeah.
so she got a child before, but
Yeah.
that wasn't the case. So at that time, I had to go and ask God about all these things. One of the questions I asked God was, God,
Mm-hmm.
you want to of course I had to ask him about two girls, and God was he's like, yeah, those two girls, both of those two girls are my daughters and I love them so much. And
Yeah.
now that was very confusing. It's like, because you love them so much, and then it's like,
Mm-hmm.
any of them that you marry, I'm going to bless you. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
not helping because I can't marry two girls and you're telling me any of them I marry I will get blessed.
Yeah.
But I have to zero down on this one. Now, this
Yeah.
one is the one that God led me strongly to get married to. But if I was a gambler, I would never
Mm-hmm.
put my money
Yeah.
on my current
Yeah.
because I had so many people. Now,
Yeah.
this is a lady who
Yeah.
would get sick, like half
Uh-huh.
of the month she would be
Yeah.
in the on the hospital bed, and so the
Yeah.
other 2 weeks is when you see her at least alive. So
Yeah.
many of my friends were even telling me, "Your girl is HIV positive, and we are trying to protect you. Don't get married." This was not nice, and God is like,
Yeah.
"I want you to take that one," and I was like,
Yeah.
"God, this is really not looking pleasing."
Yeah.
And so I had
Mm.
to ask him four questions. I asked God one question. This girl is
Yeah.
always calling me to get married. What is the reason? And God was like,
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, your network is slowing down a little bit, but yeah, that is the story of Godfrey and how he, yeah, he is bringing life to the people that he knows. Like literally, you can see the struggle that he had deciding to marry his wife, and as you people know, it's one thing that
yes,
you
Lapsa, are
can
you getting
always
me?
do. Yeah, you're back on. Yeah, you're back on. Okay, continue. We have some comments here that is from Bolsonic. So Bolsonic has some good questions here. You guys who are following, you, I'm gonna read them in a few seconds when Godfrey comes back. And yeah, the topic here that we have is very very interesting and is very very important for anyone who is following us from wherever you are. I want you to really be part of this because it's actually something that is very difficult and also easy to do sometimes when you are heading or leading towards marriage, because the process of getting into marriage is just very very intimidating and very strange to some people. And if you have had the time and the chance to have a person who follows you and wants to be part of your life, is one step ahead. And we shall walk you through this engagement process. So we are still listening to what Godfrey has in store and how he really got engaged with his wife, and some of the key things that he is trying to tell us. Welcome back, Godfrey. It seems like your internet is disturbing you a bit.
Yeah, this is UG.
Yeah, I can understand. UG
Anyways,
sometimes.
um,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
this is this
Um,
this.
Is your wait a minute? Your Do you have your I mean your headset? It seems like when you're moving and talking, I can hear some bubbles. I don't know whether you can attach it so that when you're moving, it doesn't make like a click sound. I don't know whether if you're hearing. I'm hearing some clicking sound a little bit on your side, but it's okay. The voice is fine.
Okay.
On that sound a little bit if you can clip it so that it doesn't move so much. Yeah, well, let's move on. We have some comments here from Bolsonic, and I have some interesting questions for you as well. But let's first hear your story, and then we shall get to that when we are heading towards the end of the podcast.
Yes, so I was saying that I had to ask God these four questions. One of the questions
Yeah.
is like, God, my wife is this girl you want me to marry is always falling sick.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be HIV.
Yeah.
And she used to love the hospital ministry so much. And so
Yeah.
God told me, let her go back to praying for people in the hospital. And every
Yeah.
time she lays her hands on people, she is going to be healed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it doesn't. I don't know what kind of mathematics is that, but that is God's theory. She
Yeah.
would pray for people get healed, but she
Yeah.
would also receive the same healing.
Yeah.
Now, to tell you the truth, ever since my wife started that thing that I told her, up from 2017, she has
Yeah.
never been admitted in the hospital
Praise God. That
unless she's
is
maybe
a
giving birth.
miracle. That
Now,
is a miracle.
she has never been admitted. Everybody thinks it's strange because she has been suffering for more than 10 years. Now,
Yeah.
the other thing that I asked God was, what about this? Yeah. And so the other thing that I asked God for sure,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure. Now, the other thing that I asked God was, what about the child?
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, it's like Godfrey is telling his story. Like Godfrey, I know him. He's my good. He's almost like he's my cousin, in other words. And I've grown up with him for a long time, and I know him. I know his wife. I know every single thing almost about him. And stories that he's telling me is just for you people to understand and get to know him on the engagement aspect of it. He's a very good guy. He's a nice guy, and the stories that he's telling is very true, and I'm really thrilled that you guys are following us and letting people understand and know that clearly. So yeah, it's a good thing that when we are in Jesus Christ, there are things that can happen in life that no one can even anticipate, because sometimes when you trust in God and you follow what God tells you, I'm sure you are listening and hearing from his testimony, because some people would have said, no, this person is too sick, I can't really go on with the person, it's just life, and I don't want to be in the hospital every single time of my life. But God had a different plan for him. Yeah, welcome back. People are still following your story, so go on.
Yeah, so I even told with that miracle, I told God that if this girl has HIV, like every single person is saying, so
Hmm.
be it. But
Yeah.
one thing I know is that you are a good God and you never
Yeah.
give bad gifts. So you give good gifts. And so
Yeah.
when God answered that, I wrote it down, and then I told my wife to go back to the hospital praying for people. And
Yeah.
up to today, her heart has never stopped burning for sick people. She loves sick people like crazy. Even
Hmm.
on her birthday, she takes her gifts to the hospital instead of receiving gifts. Now, the
Yeah.
other thing I asked God was, what about the child? And God was like, well, you already take care of street kids, you love street kids, you even take care of crazy street kids. So that
Yeah.
one is easy cheesy. Just adopt the child. And I'm like, okay, now this one is easy for me. I'm
Hmm.
just going to take on that. And
Yeah.
then the other thing is, I asked God that, what about now this issue of I have to pay a bride price and
Yeah.
all these things. Now
Hmm.
that one, I just felt like God laughed at me and he said,
Yeah.
Godfrey, I know that you are very broke.
Yeah.
Now the issue of money, you leave that one to me.
Hmm.
That is my business. You handle the other business, me, I will
Yeah.
handle this business of money. and
Yeah.
that was my biggest fear
Mm-hmm.
because the family was asking for too much money,
Yeah.
and so in Uganda it would be around $7,000.
Yeah.
And so God said that is my business. Now,
Yeah.
when God said that is his business, I decided that, and my pastor was very crazy at that time because
Yeah.
I decided that I'm going to give every, especially the issue of weddings, even the money. I said, "This God, this is your business.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make any pledge cards. I
Mm-hmm.
am not going to give anybody my budget. If you
Yeah.
even if you just give popcorn and borehole
Yeah.
water on that day, me I will wait. So
Yeah.
this is your business. It's not my business."
Yeah.
And from that point, now that gave me so much confidence to be
Mm.
able to go and propose because at
Yeah.
that time God had reassured me that he's on my side, he's fighting my battles. And then
Yeah.
from the way I saw my wife go back to the hospital and she started getting healed and she was not
Mm-hmm.
falling sick, I said, for sure, this God is doing wonders. And
Yeah.
that is the confidence I had in God. And
Yeah.
it made it very easy for me to go and propose because God had already answered all my questions. And those were some of the
Yeah.
fears I had, but he had answered them well and he had started acting on them. And I felt so confident and I just
Mm-hmm.
went and proposed because I had so much peace to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, with
Yeah.
yeah, with the proposal itself, because the main thing today that we're talking about is how to propose really to your girlfriend, and you already gave us a little bit of the story how it really happened. I one question for you: like, did you discuss with your girlfriend uh, prior to the proposing date, or you just had like a secret agenda? You guys had been in relationship for a while, and you knew that she was really the one that you want to marry, but also having that anxiety about or being anxious about what the family will think and what other relatives would think about it, knowing your background of having nothing almost in the family, and having that strange fear that, oh, if I do this, what will come out of it. So my question is just very very open in a way, like how did you really do it? I know you already described it. Like, at what point did you realize that, okay, today I'm going to do this, and no matter the consequence or the result, I'm just gonna do it. Imagine if you had that chance to do it and then she had said no. I want to hear your reaction. But lucky she said yes to you. How did you do it? Did you plan it ahead of time, or you just had it that one day and said, okay, let me just do it today?
Yeah, like I said, this ring was bought to me by somebody, so it was in my pocket for about 3 months. This like 90 days. This
Mm.
ring was always in my pocket. But
Yeah.
what? Because first of all, God had already answered my questions, and so
Yeah.
when He had answered my questions, me and my wife we were already. I think we had already started talking about marriage, and I remember
Yeah.
my pastor had already met us like 1 or 2 times, and we were already talking about marriage. We were even talking about dates and all those
Yeah.
things. And so
Yeah.
there's just everything. There was so many green lights because like I said, it was just one day in my mind. I'm like, today I'm doing it. This thing, this carrying this ring has to stop. Today it has to go.
Yeah.
It is not mine. And
Yeah.
so that day I
Mm.
just decided to put the ring on her finger because it was there were so many green lights, like I said, and we were already planning towards getting married.
Yeah.
Me and her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's really good. For you, you already knew exactly because you had the ring with you, and you knew that she is the right person that you were going to engage to, and the process went really quick and easy, and the result was the one you wanted, right? And so
Yeah.
for somebody who is still going to to that process of engaging. Maybe they're in relationship. What can you tell that person if they have that fear of going to really, I mean, if you have hesitation in your brain, maybe you have two girls, some people, date 2 or 3 people at the same time, and they don't know which one really to go for. But as a Christians, as we know, it's like we talked about it in this podcast before, that for us as Christians, we want to date with the intention of getting married. We just don't want to date for fun. So if you have one person and you know that she is the one, it would be a good idea to stick with that person, and you get to know them while you're dating, and then decide if she is the one or the right person for you. So what advice would you give to somebody who is going in that area of engaging also to his or her loved one?
Yeah, I know engagement is strange, and there are people who meet in 1 month. They have been strangers like their entire life. They meet in 1 month. They engage. They're married, get stuck, and they live
Yeah,
forever. But there
yeah,
are people who date for 10 years. Even
yeah,
when they get married, they may separate in 2 weeks.
yeah. I've
And
seen that.
so there's not
Yeah.
necessarily there's not necessarily a very clear formula here, but my wife was already my friend. I'd known her from 2014 to
Mm,
2017. We
yeah.
had worked in the same place for about 2 years, and so we
Mm,
were friends. We were buddies. Uh,
mm,
we had asked each other several of those questions, and then of course we
yeah.
had our own fears. And personally, like I said, I really had to talk to God. If you don't know how to listen to the voice of God, you definitely have to talk to somebody in the church or somebody older than you
Yeah.
that you trust. Not even some people don't even trust their own parents. They may just say no.
Mm,
But somebody that you trust and you're free with them, you have to share with them
yeah.
your fears. But you need to share your fears. You need to handle your fears. If you have fears, talk to them to God. If you know how to listen to God, if you don't know how to listen to God, just talk to somebody else. But these
Yeah.
fears, the questions have to be answered, because if
Yeah.
they are not answered, then you are gambling, because
Yeah.
because you're not sure. Because if inside your heart it's not peaceful, you really
Hmm.
don't have to. And then the other thing, you have to be equally yoked. The Bible is very clear that you cannot
Yeah.
be equally yoked
Mm,
with unbelievers. You see,
yeah.
and this is
Hmm.
because equally yoked is not that every day that you cannot do business with another person from another religion, or you should not even
Yeah.
share as the same area. But equally yoked is that particular person, you're going to do business with them for a longer time, and so you
Hmm.
can't be equally. Now the issue of marriage is not a gamble. This is not
Yeah.
an and try error. This you don't test and try. It's a human being's life you're talking about. So this is
Yeah.
not a try and error. This is a lifelong commitment. You have
Hmm.
lived for 30 years. Let's say you get married at 30. The other next 70 years, are
Hmm.
you really willing to grow up with this person for the next 70 years? If God gives you 100 years, you need
Yeah.
to ask yourself, if this person grows older, the wrinkles have come, the skins are falling apart, would you still
Hmm.
be comfortable loving
Yeah.
this person? You see,
Yeah.
those all those things you have to ask. Otherwise, you enter into a house and the first year is very, very hot. I'm just telling you, if you're getting, but it is hot because you're trying
Yeah.
to put two different lives to become one, and it is not working. You
Yeah.
become, yeah, when you are still dating it, they're like unlike poles.
Yeah.
But now when you get married, they're like poles. They
Hmm.
repel for the first year, and you're like, hey, I think this is a
Yeah.
mistake.
Yeah.
Everybody says that. But my
Yeah.
friend, you're just trying to make things work. And they will, after 1 year,
Yeah.
things will go smoothly. And so the person has to
Yeah.
be your friend. Talk to God
Yeah.
about it. Talk to somebody you trust.
Yeah.
And if you feel peace in your heart, just do it. Don't wait for 5 years to just get married. This issue
Yeah.
of becoming one is not that the day you put the ring, you become one. It's a
Yeah.
lifelong commitment of becoming one. Even the day you die and you get married, you still ask
Mm-hmm.
yourself, this person, I lived for 70 years
Yeah.
and did this thing. And so
Yeah.
every day you're discovering new things. You will
Uh-huh.
never know each other pack a lot
Yeah.
until you till you're
Yeah.
gone. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's a lifelong commitment. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Dating and marriage, I would say dating leads to marriage. I don't, in my own perspective, I don't really like when somebody meets someone just in a day or two and then they start to live together and said, we have been dating for 2 days and now we are living together. For me, it makes sense so much that you take your time to know the person that you want to live with for years. Like you said, you're going to live together until death do you part. Now, the first step to do death do you part is to get engaged. Engagement looks so different in many culture and different cultures, I would say. People who live in the US, they have different ways to engage, and they have different ways to do stuff. And also people who are in Africa or in Uganda, wherever you are, you have your own ways that you do your engagement. There's no formula or tactic that you can use and say, okay, this is the right way. And there's no legal purpose for your date or for your engagement. As long as you feel like the person is the right person for you and you are trusted that God helped you through to talk to the person and to get to know the person, and you really know that God has given that person to you. That is the best moment. The timing of it is just upon you two to decide. Let me tell you, for me, I talked to my current wife before even we actually engaged. We went together because we knew we were gonna get married, so we went together and bought rings, 2 rings actually for us. I mean, for ourselves. So we did it in our room, not even in open place, just like in a place where it was quiet. We talked about what we liked about each other, and we talked about uh, life generally, how we want to see our life to be. We talked about our relationship and how we see God moving us in our relationship. And then I asked her right there, and she said yes. That was for me. It would be different for you. For you, you went in and did it with with a necklace, but for us, we got a rings. For, like, other people would spend lots and lots of money for engagement rings, especially in the Western culture here. You find that they're buying diamond rings and stuff just only for engagement, and that is a lot of money. And the life that they live here is quite different compared to African life, but it's all geared towards relationship and marriage. No matter where you do it from, no matter how much you spend to buy your ring or stuff. Now, this brings me to the question. Some people have argued that engagement is not valuable, is not useful in any way. What do you say about that, Godfrey? Like, some people think it's just a matter of you can either, because some people believe you have to do it in an open, in like a crowd, gather people, and then everybody sees that you're proposing. That is the right way to do it. Other people say you can just do it alone, the way we did, or the way you guys did. So what would you make sense of, like, in how would you say is the right way to do? There's no right way, but I just wanted to talk about, like, how you feel about engagement, where you do it, when you do it. Does it matter to you?
Yeah, I think if you're talking about engagement, there are three lives involved here, and this is you, your wife to be, and God.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
the other parties that you want to please don't care. So
Yeah.
whether you do it in the people even hire aeroplanes, they do it in the air, they you do it where, so like
Yeah.
I don't even understand. You're spending already millions of it. Now for a poor person like me who even can't buy a ring of $100, not even, like my ring was just I think
Less
less
than a
than three
dollar.
dollars.
Yeah.
Yes. Now how would I now again gather the whole village for what?
Yeah. Just for only
Already
engagement.
some people, yes, there are even people who will snatch this lady from me. For a matter of fact, there was a guy I would tell him, please, if you have a gennat in your hand, eat it.
Mhm.
Because if
Yeah.
you don't eat it, the
Yeah.
chickens will come and eat it. Now, the
Yeah.
day I put that engagement ring on my current wife, there's a guy
Mhm.
at my workplace. He closed himself in the toilet and cried for 2 hours. But I thank God I had warned him. Two
Yeah.
hours. The guy came out when his eyes were red. I asked him, what is the problem? It's like
Uh,
this girl got engaged. I said, but I warned you. I told you if you have a chicken, a gennut in your hand, eat it. The chickens will eat it. So the guy cried for 2 hours. So these people you want to please, some of them actually want to snatch that person. And so at the
yeah,
end of the day, it's you, your girlfriend, or your wife to be, and God who should be happy.
yeah,
All these other people, even when you get married and you're sleeping hungry, they don't care. They will never
yeah,
care. They don't even, yeah, they don't actually care. So if
yeah.
the three of you are happy, you, your girl,
Mm-hmm,
and God
mm-hmm,
is happy, the
yeah,
thing is finished. It doesn't matter whether you did it from the bush or
mm-hmm,
in the middle of the road or in
mm-hmm,
the aeroplane. In fact, in the aeroplane might just be you and the pilot. And so it
yeah.
doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that is what I would say.
Yeah, that's really true. That's so true. I would like I really agree with you in all aspects because it's just the marriage is not for anybody else. Much as you have people to just witness and do stuff, is it's going to be just the two of you running out everything in your life and God. And if you have God at the meets, the main thing is to have God at the center of your relationship. If God is there at the center of your relationship, for sure, don't care about what people say or where you do your engagement from. Just go on, even if on the roadside, wherever you can feel comfortable telling your girl, would you marry me or will you marry me? Wherever you want to say. If she says yes, go on and move on and put God at the center of everything, and wedding and stuff will be organized, because I know the engagement part of it leads to the wedding. And now this will bring me to one question that I want us also to discuss. When you are engaged, what is the next step in life apart from really going to marriage? What are some of the topics that you, as Godfrey, would discuss in the process? Because now you know that this is going to be your wife. If anything, if in case anything doesn't happen, because engagement doesn't mean that you're going to be automatically marrying the wife, but that is the intention of it. Now, what are some of the things that you discuss now when you engage with your wife? Because one thing that I know, if you don't discuss it, we have talked about dating so many times, but now the process of dating, this is now real. Almost you're almost in I would say in the age of marrying this person. So what are some of the key things you discuss with your wife to make sure that before you really say yes I do in the church, you made clear to your wife to really know? What are some of the things you discussed with her?
Yeah, like I said, at the time you engage your wife, you should at least all those questions that you have in your mind should have
Mm-hmm.
already been answered,
Yeah,
unless you just want to play with somebody's heart.
yeah,
Uh, and so for me, engagement is already like you're saying we are going to church. We're just
yeah,
waiting to decide on the date to go to
yeah.
church. And so by
Mm-hmm.
that time, I said you should have peace. That means by that time you have asked your girlfriend, you have already talked about all those sensitive, questions. What are your views on family? What are your views on money? What are your
Yeah,
views on sex? What are your views on this? What if we
yeah,
had on relatives? All these things. But
yeah,
if by the time you get engaged and there are
yeah,
still some loose ends, there are still certain things that are not making you peaceful, you need to
yeah,
close those ends. You see, you need
yeah,
to really polish that. If it is the issue of money, it was not yet clear. Now is the
mm-hmm.
time you need to clear up the issues of those other things that are still not so clear, because you want to get into marriage and
Yeah,
you are sure of what you're going to do together. How are we going to raise our kids? How are we going to
yeah,
handle our money? By that time you have to be polished.
mm-hmm.
But the biggest one, of course, now you get married, and the next thing is you're planning your marriage. You're planning the
Yeah,
wedding.
yeah,
If it is in the African setting, like I said, by the time
yeah,
you engage, you would have already taken a bride price, which
yeah,
in the African setting, that is already the first set of marriage. By that
yeah,
time, the parents are actually willing to give you your wife.
mm-hmm.
It's just that I don't know now how we added this issue of wedding in the church. I don't know. But African
Yeah,
setting, you pay
mm-hmm.
bride price, you already have a wife.
Excuse me.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
and so you can go for legal in court. But
Yeah.
now we have to wait for the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
But by that time, after the engagement, you're trying to, if you engage like me, now you have to go back to her parents and
Yeah.
fix those loose ends. Otherwise, on the day of your wedding,
Yeah.
remember the church is going to ask you for a letter from your
Mm.
father-in-law accepting you to
That.
get wedded with the daughter. And so, if by
Mm-hmm.
that time you have not done that, you need to go back and make them happy. I don't know where how you're going to make them happy, but if you are not happy,
Yeah.
um, you are not, unless you are just going to go and wait without their consent, and
Yeah.
then you fight that battle afterwards. But you would
Yeah.
need their consent. But
Yeah.
after that, of course, you're planning for the church wedding. You
Yeah.
will definitely now be talking about what kind of house do we want, where
Yeah.
are we going to live, all those
Mm.
things. You need to figure those out before the
Yeah.
wedding day. Otherwise, the wedding day comes and you're going to be
Mm-hmm.
stranded. Where will you sleep?
Yeah.
The thing is, will you as a guy go and stay in the girl's house because that is
Yeah.
her house? Will the
Mm-hmm.
girl come to your house because that is your house? So you need
Yeah.
to go to a neutral place. You need to get a
Yeah.
home that is neutral, that nobody will say this is your home or my home, but it is our home. And
Yeah.
so those are some of the things you now start planning for. That
Yeah.
is the wedding planning. It's one of the biggest thing at that point. If all the other topics had been polished.
Yeah. So yeah, one thing that my pastor told me to like in marriage and my marriage counseling, well, when I did, even before, like during engagement, the most important thing that you want to do as a Christian is to check both of you if you have the same belief. Um, because that is the most important thing. If you are a Christian, you want to have the same belief in God. And you want that person also to be somebody who follows and reads the Bible and knows the Bible itself, knows how to be patient, knows how to love, knows almost every single thing as you are heading into the marriage process, because that is the main the main theme in any engagement and any marriage. If that is love, as God said, love one another as you love yourself. You want that person really to know the love of God and the love that you have for that person as well. Because if you don't love one another, you just going in for the marriage just because of something else, then at the end of it all, you will get married and divorce will be the center. It will be the first thing that comes into mind because you never put God first in that engagement or in your relationship. So think about your God and think about yourself and trust that God is at the center of everything that you guys are doing leading into marriage to help you move forward in anything that you are going to do after you are engaged. Engagement is the first step to leading us to wedding or marriage, which is a good thing. It's not meant for everybody. Some people don't really care about doing it. Others do. Others just go ask from their parents, and if the parents give them go ahead, they just move on and get married. Other people don't care about buying ring for engagement. That is totally okay as long as God is in it. We don't go against it in any way because we know that with God everything is possible, and if you put God first in in your relationship, things will move on exactly the way you want it to go. And the next thing that I also want us to talk about in your engagement is managing finance and raising your kids. So if you know that you and your wife are making money and money is coming out from different sources, you want to make it clear to one another. Make it open and very clear that I earn this amount of money, and your partner should also be very open. I know it's very difficult. We shall handle that topic strictly when we get into marriage about finance and stuff, but also in engagement, please talk about your money with your to be wife, because that is very helpful. The wife will, or the person that you engage with, have to know your status in financially. They have to know so that they don't, like in African culture, you go home to get the how do you call it, requirements, or how do they call requirements for something for marriage. So if you if you don't
It's more like
disclose them.
when you go to a restaurant. When you go to a
Yeah.
restaurant after eating, they give you a bill, but it's different
Yeah.
in Africa. They give you a bill before you eat the meal, and
Yeah.
now you're like, how I haven't eaten the meal, you're giving me the bill. Now this is very very disturbing.
Okay. So yeah, so you need to discuss that fully so that they know your status, so that when you go to get the requirements and stuff assessment they call it, you have to really let the person know so that they don't give extraordinary money that you can pay, that is for the bride price. So let's that is very clear, but you have to discuss that. I'm excited for this. That's why I'm laughing so much today. So yes, Godfrey, let's go and see this comment. We almost, yeah, up in a little bit. We have some 9 minutes left. So let's look at some comments that we have here. And then if you have any comment, please just type it in and we shall see it and read it. If you have questions about engagement, please go on and type. We still have some few minutes left for us to finish the show. So go on and type your question or your whatever you want to say. Even if you want to say hi to us, we are happy to get to that. Let's see what this friend of ours is saying. So I think, are you able to see that this is Bolsonic? He's saying welcome. That is the first thing that he wrote, and then we have yeah, we have Bolsonic saying, "My name is Abala Isaac Annington from Lamore District. Is that Lakung? Maybe Lokung, Bagheera. I am not I'm not married, but always listen from Radio Favor FM. I really enjoy it so much. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you also for, yeah, taking, hopefully you got us from Favor FM. Sometimes they talk about the podcast on Favor. So I'm glad that you heard from there also, or you're listening to the marriage program in Favor. That is also good. But this is Tommy Bear TV. If you have not subscribed, go on and subscribe and be part of the show every Saturday. We shall have the podcast on. Let's see what else he said. There's another thing that he said here. So I never knew it that thing happening in this website, but by the grace of God, I tap the link from the Hope Through the Night. So thank you for getting that from Up Through the Night and being with us. Yeah, give us your view. What do you think about engagement? I know you're not yet married. This is the purpose. We do this podcast so that, yeah, you get into knowing some of those things that can help you get engaged or help you find the person that you want. If you have not watched some of the shows that we did last week or few weeks ago, go on and also watch that. We have some of the issues that address someone who is not married. You go on there in the podcast sections, go on there and then tap the link or tap the video. You'll be able to watch all the three. We have actually 4 episodes now. This is the fifth one. So go and listen to all those. You will get all the key things that you want as far as you're looking for a person to date. So that is one thing. I see also one from Pastor James teaching. He said, "Yeah, amen. Thank you so much, Pastor James. I'm sorry you didn't make it all the way through to the podcast. Next weekend, you're welcome to join us. But thank you for being there. Thank you for watching, and I'm happy that you are following us as well. So." Yeah, thank you. If you have any question, please type it in about this, and we shall get back to it. And yeah, Godfrey will also come back and get back to it as well. But the main thing, as we always say, relationship is very, very important, and engagement in any way is important. Even in the Bible, we see how Joseph was engaged to Mary before Jesus was born. So that is something that we want you as a Christian really to have. You don't have to spend so much money to do it. You don't have to do so much to find the person that you would want to live your life with. Please just put God at the center of everything that you want to do, and God will do the rest for you. And you have just to be trusting God in wherever you do, so that life can move on the way you want it to be. Let me know in your comment what you think about this podcast and what your question is. We can go on and answer it as we wait for the time to move on. Now, engagement is something very, very important in a Christian life, because if you date for intention, or you do what we call intentional dating, where you want to have a wife, a Christian wife, that God is in it, you have to at least move move in this process and make it be a life and a part of life that you enjoy, because God has created love, has created relationship for a reason. He has created so many things in life that we enjoy, and we only enjoy when we are in Christ. We enjoy when we believe, when we move on in Christ, and we enjoy relationship and engagement in many ways if we move on to put Christ first in every single thing that we do, because God is the key. God is the key of every single thing we do on earth. If you love your wife, you love your friend, and you're ready to move on to that next step, please just do it for God's sake and put God first. That is what I say. There's so many things you can discuss in relationship heading to engagement, because the right time you head into engagement, you really know that this person is the right person, and you ask them for a reason. You can't ask for somebody to marry you if you know you're not confident in them. So first of all, be confident in the person that you want to live your life forever with, because engagement and marriage is a lifetime experience. It's a lifetime a commitment that you want to have. So don't make a mistake of just engaging to somebody because they're beautiful, or they look, or they laugh a lot, or they enjoy you. Just love the person the way they are and engage with them with the purpose that you will live your entire life on earth with that person. So that is what I want you to get very, very closely. Yeah. So I went through the comments, and those are the ones that we have. If you're still there and you want to ask questions, this is the time. Go on. If you're on Facebook on Laughter Songs, please just type wherever you want to know about this podcast. Just go on and please let us know where you're watching from as well. That would help us. We have a person watching from Lamore. Thank you so much for following us. And we have Pastor James also. He didn't make it into the show, but he has given his comment here on the show. Welcome. Thank you so much also for doing that, Pastor James. So wherever you're watching from, please let us know in the comments and be a part of this podcast. So it's really, really important. Thank you. Welcome, Pastor. Welcome, Godfrey. I don't know why I like Pastor. Maybe God wants you to be a pastor.
Yeah.
So you never know.
Okay.
So um, you can just say amen, a blessing. So
Amen. Amen.
yeah. So yeah, that is what we have for now, as far as comment is aiding us. Is there anything that we have not talked about that you want to talk about in as far as engagement is, like in your own experience, what are some of the things that you feel like you can talk about to people who want to be engaged soon, that we have
Like
not said
like
anything
like I
about? Yeah.
said, yeah, like I said, what this is not a gamble. And
Yeah.
Jesus really talked about divorce. And the thing is, the Bible is very clear. God hates divorce,
Yeah.
and it's the reason the people ask for divorce was
I think we are trying to lost to miss you a little bit. Your network is not steady.
because of their
Yeah, sorry.
evil
Yeah, we can hear you so much, but yeah,
intentions.
yeah, maybe you can get back in a few
And
seconds. We can
so
hear you. Yeah,
we need you need to
Godfrey.
talk about the sensitive things.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry so much. Yeah, his network is disturbing him for a bit, but yeah, we want to really, really get to bring in some of the things that we know is a little bit helpful for us. So yeah, being here doesn't really um, help us so much if you are not um, thinking of life in Christ, because life in Christ helps you so much in so many ways. Are you back? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, you were clicking and I couldn't nobody would hear you. But yeah, go on. First maybe begin begin afresh because nobody heard you. I didn't hear you as well.
Yeah, I think that God hates divorce,
Yeah,
and if and the reason people ask for divorce is because of their evil intentions. Now,
yeah.
and that's why it's good to talk about these tough topics before you even get into the marriage, because otherwise,
Mm.
you will have to deal with these tough topics. And one of them is money.
Yeah,
People,
money, 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 money. Yeah, money is the issue.
money
Yeah.
can make you
Mhm.
divorce even in the next day after getting married today. The
Yeah.
issue of money is you need to tackle it properly. It's a
Yeah.
very sensitive topic.
Hmm.
Money and sex,
Yeah.
those two things, if you don't talk about them in
Hmm.
advance, I'm telling you, you'll
Yeah.
divorce quickly. And so
Yeah.
those topics have to be handled in a godly
Hmm.
manner. I
Yeah.
don't know if people, I don't know what people think about love, but love is good. The Bible says if you don't love your brother whom you can see, that means you don't know God,
Yeah.
because God is love. And
Yeah.
so if a person doesn't have God, I'm telling you, whether they tell you they will buy the whole of Uganda for you, or they will buy
Hmm.
the whole of the US and give it to you, they are
Yeah.
lying.
Yeah.
They are lying. They will not. And so
Yeah.
the person has to have God in them. You have to have God in you because God is love. He is the only one who is going to teach you to love the other person.
Yeah.
As you love God, the other love that He loves you with can overflow. And that is the only way that you can have patience, you can have kindness, you can forgive. But
Hmm.
these sensitive topics have to be handled. Otherwise, you'll get into marriage with two legs. One is
Yeah.
inside and another
Hmm.
one is outside. And that's why you
Yeah.
hear some people in Africa here. Somebody
Yeah.
is in their marriage, but they are building it. For example, a woman is illegally, secretly building a
Hmm.
home at our village without even the husband knowing. The husband
Yeah.
is also busy investing somewhere without the wife knowing. Now,
Yeah.
if you die before your wife knows,
Hmm.
some of your friends who know about this thing, well, they will eat that house.
Yeah. That's true.
And that means you're in this marriage with two legs. One leg is out, one leg, it's a gamble. If
Yeah.
this one doesn't work out, at least I built a house at my home, I will retire there.
Hmm.
And so this is, you do or die. You have to be real, be
Yeah.
open. If there's
Yeah.
any secret that may come after you after marriage, spill them out before
Yeah.
marriage, so that if the person will hate you for those secrets, let them hate you there. They leave you. That would
Hmm.
have given you so much freedom. You see, and
Yeah.
then you look for somebody who is willing to take your secrets, the way they are, they understand you, because
Hmm.
I'm telling you, you will divorce. So those sensitive topics, don't just talk about, oh, you are it's like
Yeah. And your network is jumping
partner
again. Your network is jumping. We
who
can't really hear. Your network is jumping. Yeah. It's just yeah. It's
your
really
ears.
yeah. It's really really important that you get to bring God at the center of your encouragement and bring everything to light. If you're leading to marriage, the first thing that you have to do is to bring your marriage to light. Let light be in your marriage. Because if you have not brought everything in the limelight or clear to everyone, I tell you, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be so difficult for anybody to live in with you. Yes, your network was cutting. I couldn't hear you. Can you hear me now? Godfrey, can you hear me? Yeah, I think his network is disturbing him so much. But yeah, like I said, life, if you engage, is fun. It's enjoyable. Enjoy it and have fun as you get engaged in so many ways. Wherever fits you, wherever works for you, go on and do it and be at the center of your marriage. Don't let any single thing from the devil take you back into the world. If you have decided to marry someone and you have decided that the person is the right person for you, go on and get engaged with them. There's no magic way to get engaged to anyone. You can choose in any way, wherever you want to do, in any special way. Go on and do it and have fun and enjoy, and your life will just be there for you, and everybody would be there for you. Just do whatever feels good for you to get engaged. And like Godfrey said, don't let people around you take your love, your 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 desire that you have for one another. You can engage on the roadside, in the tree, in the house, anywhere you want. Just the two of you, or you, if you want to throw a party and you have money, just go on and do it. But make sure that you stand by the word that you say, unless something really tragic or something that is um, unethical, I would say, or it's not right in the Bible perspective or in biblical perspective, you're ready to quit the relationship. Yeah, you're welcome. You were cutting on. I couldn't hear you. So I don't know. Maybe your network was jumpy. Can you hear me now? Godfrey, can you hear me? Can you hear me in any way? Yeah, so sorry. Yeah, Godfrey's network is really poor, but there's no comment here, and we're almost heading to the end of the show. We shall just end in 3 minutes. So let me know what you have in your mind there, and give us a comment if you have any comment, and let us know what you think about life itself. So at the end of your 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 engagement, what else we will do next week? We shall come up with another topic that will be interesting as well. As you know, if you engage, what's next for you in store, the steps for you to get married, some of the things that you have to really discuss for you to really lead to the marriage aspect of it, and some of the counseling that you will have. We shall bring those counseling aspect as well in the next week's session. So stay there with us, don't leave, and stay there next weekend as well. We shall bring you another topic.
Yeah,
And
my network was just yeah.
mm, can you hear me now?
Yes, I
Can you pick me
can
or not yet?
hear you.
Okay. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
go on and just summarize the show. Yeah, let's go on and summarize the show. Your last word to the viewers and to the listeners, and what can you tell them? What should they uh, think about this week as we head to us next week? Oh, so he's gone again. But no worries. We have come all actually to the end of the show. If no comment is there, and if no one is having any questions, yeah, let's go on and end the show and be part of next week's show. So thank you so much for following Voicing the Kingdom podcast. If you have not subscribed to the show, please go on and subscribe to Tommy Bear TV. We want to see as many people as possible in the channel, so we can, yeah, impact lots and lots of people in various aspects of life. So that is our goal for all of you. Please stay tuned next weekend again on Saturday around 9 a.m. 9 p.m. Uganda time and 1 p.m. US time. We shall be live every Saturday. So stay tuned there and be there for the show every single weekend. Thank you for being here with us. Subscribe if you've not subscribed yet. Follow us on Facebook as well, on TikTok. There's also Tammy Bear TV. Go on and follow us also on TikTok. On Instagram, go and follow Mr. Laughter right there. And on Facebook, go and follow Mr. Laughter Songs. You will have all of us there. So yeah, so you don't miss any single thing, and you will be part of the show in any way. If you have any question, please, yeah, that is the channel that we have our show in. Just go and type in your question there. Anything you want help with, as far as relationship is concerned, or anything that you have for relationship, this is going to be your corner, and this is going to be your podcast for entire year. And we want to develop it. Much as network is becoming an issue, helping disturbing us, we still want to continue and having God at the center of this podcast. Thank you so much for watching, and continue being with us every single day. Thanks so much. Let's move on and sign out. Ciao. See you again next weekend. One love.